Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're based. I see we have people from all over the world, so welcome, everyone. My name is Esteban Loza, and I'll be your host during this webinar. I am part of the ToolsGroup team, and I work hand in hand with InTWO to help companies meet their business goals. We as ToolsGroup and InTWO are very pleased to host this webinar, so thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time to be here with us. I'm 100% sure that this next hour will be full of insight and very, very advantageous for all of us. So let me introduce to all the speakers for today. First, Oommen P Oommen, based in Dubai and Assistant Vice President of Digital Transformation at InTWO. Next, we have Federico Albini, Regional Sales Manager at ToolsGroup. And third, Marco Dino, our Microsoft Integration Director at ToolsGroup. Day 3 will lead our agenda for today, where we will be able to understand and learn how to elevate our supply chain planning. In the first section, we'll review the main supply chain challenges in today's world, and we will learn how to face them. Following that, we will see that how ToolsGroup artificial intelligence powered software can help you elevate your supply chain planning. And as a third point, we will have a live demo of SO99 for Dynamics, in which we will be able to have a quick overview of the solution itself. Last but not least, we have dedicated a section of the webinar to questions and answers, where the attendees will be able to interact with the speakers and ask them any specific questions they might have. Please, if any questions come to mind while we're presenting, feel free to drop it out in our chat box, and we'll make sure to review them and answer them at the end of the webinar. To enter the chat box, just click in the icon indicated in the screen. And without further ado, let's dive in. Oommen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Esteban. Good afternoon, everyone. Salam alaikum to everyone in the Middle East listening to me, and hello to everyone connecting from the other parts of the world. My name is Oommen, and glad to have been connecting with each one of you during the webinar today. And the first part, like Esteban mentioned, that I would be covering is a brief introduction of who we are as an organization and how we can add value to your business. So to start with, about InTWO, I'm just going to be taking control over the screen. Thank you. InTWO is a global full cloud services provider owned by Schneider Electric. We're a 100% owned entity of RIB and Schneider. What do we do as an organization? Is we are a technology company having a global presence with a very strong foothold within Microsoft. Today, we have helped businesses transform completely. We serve more than 1,000+ customers across the globe. We're an organization with more than 400+ people supporting customers across 40+ countries. We are a 24/7 operations because our customers are spread across the globe. Now, while InTWO has several customers in different business verticals, which are those industries that we have specific focus upon? Go to the next slide. Just taking control. Well, So our focus industries today are manufacturing, FMCG, distribution, retail, and real estate. So as I mentioned, we have assisted more than 1,000+ customers across the globe. But our focus industries are the ones that you see on the slide today. We have extensive customer experience in these industry vertical and also industry specific solutions. So this is a brief about us as an organization. So the second part of my session today with all of you, where I wanted to speak to you about, is what are the challenges in supply chain and what is the need of the hour for customers today. So let me move forward. Right. Before I get to the core of today's subject, I would like to share a small story with all of you listening to me. Once an employer asked an applicant during his job interview, "For this buyer's job, we need someone who is responsible." So the applicant responded to the employer, "I am the one that you want. In my last procurement job, every time there was a problem in the business, they said I was the so-called responsible buyer." I'm sure people listening to me would agree that you wouldn't want to be that so-called responsible buyer. From the time that the term supply chain got coined by Keith Oliver in 1882, this term has always continued to be a challenge for a lot of organizations across the globe. So managing a supply chain is complicated work and will continue to be a complicated one. Supply chain professionals are no strangers to challenges, but they must understand these obstacles are far from over. Businesses hoping to avoid similar crises in future must anticipate and adapt to incoming hazards. So let's get to the core of the subject today in terms of how to face these challenges and what are these challenges. The first challenge that I would like to throw light upon is continued backlogs. One of the most prevalent challenges facing supply chains that will continue into next year is backlogs. Backlogs from supply shortages, congested ports, and unfortunately persistent leftover from the early days of COVID will still be an issue. In October 2021, 45% of surveyed economists believed supply chain bottlenecks would mostly recede by mid 2022, with another 40% believing that it would happen earlier. Supply chain managers must plan around continued backlogs because this is not going anywhere. Businesses must be careful to avoid over ordering to compensate for these backlogs. Caving to demand too quickly could worsen the situation, continuing the bullwhip effect. I'm sure all of you in supply chain know that term. So, what should supply chain managers do? Continue to focus on slow, long term recovery and restructuring to prevent similar shortages in the future. The second challenge that I would like to throw light today is worker shortages. Much of the current labor shortages arises from a cultural shift. The available workforce must then gain a better perception of how supply chain works, and organizations must establish themselves as better, more equitable employers. In the meantime, supply chain organizations may have to rely on heavily on automation and outsourcing. The third challenge that I would like to throw light today is excess and obsolete inventory, which is today a priority for many supply chain intense organizations. Effective inventory reductions are best achieved by synchronizing demand forecasts, inventory quantities, and supply capacity throughout the extended enterprise. Multi-echelon inventory optimization replaces the rules of thumb with science to optimize where and how much inventory should be held across the extended supply chain. So the need of the hour is a well-run supply chain planning solution that can actually mean the difference between success and failure. The fourth challenge that I would like to throw light today is globalization challenges. Managing international relationships will likely to be another prominent challenge for supply chain managers. Many supply chains today are becoming more distributed, with more than 50% of using dual sourcing raw materials and 20% expanding backup production sites. And what does this do? It improves resiliency. But companies may also face obstacles in this initiative. The fifth one, our favorite topic today, pressure to go green. Sustainability is what most of companies today look forward to achieve. Today, what is happening is as consumer pressure to go green increases, B2C companies will look for greener B2B partners to ensure their entire value chain is sustainable. Sustainability is an important goal, but achieving it is a bigger challenge. Supply chain managers must start looking for areas to become more eco-friendly to enable larger changes in future. This could entail powering warehouses with renewable energy, using electric vehicles for last mile deliveries, or taking similar actions. The last point that I would like to touch upon today from a challenge perspective for supply chain managers is changing legislation. Today, managers have to navigate changing regulatory and legal landscapes. Supply chains have garnered more attention from government bodies as stock shortages and delays have grown. However, any significant change involves disruption, whether the results are ultimately positive or not. So supply chain managers today must keep a close eye on legal developments to see how much they have to adjust. So these were some of the challenges of supply chain and the need of the hour that I just touched upon right now. So if these are the challenges, what limitations do legacy ERP systems face today? Because I'm sure a lot of you all listening to me today will agree that all of you are using state-of-the-art ERP systems. And what are some of the challenges that you would possibly come across while addressing your supply chain bottlenecks? So let me go to the next slide. Okay. Can I get control of the slide and move on? My backup team. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So what are some of the limitations with legacy ERP? The first main limitation is when it comes to sales forecast. Flat, does not consider trends, promotions, seasonality, etc. Location to location stock reallocation is mostly manual, which basically means distribution planning today continues to be handled through manual spreadsheets. Advanced demand planning, forecasting usually needs an add-on for most of the legacy ERP systems. Maintenance of data is high, which means reorder levels, safety stocks, all these are inputs into the system. What we obviously need and supply chain managers listening to me right now would agree that we need a science, we need AI, we need algorithms to help manage this based on the trends that we input. Statistical models often need programming in all these ERP systems. So if these are some of the limitations, and I'm sure there are a lot more that I can call out, but if these are the limitations with legacy ERP systems, what can an advanced supply chain planning systems do for you? So to overcome these limitations, you will need to start taking into account order history, planned orders, industry trends, and your organizational strategic activities. You will definitely need to include all cross-functional teams who will have an impact on your demand, like sales, marketing, operations, finance, and for all people handling different market segments within your business. And once you have all this information, what you then need is a holistic picture of what's expected so that there'll be relative few unknowns. And that is where today we are bringing to you an advanced solution to take care, to overcome these challenges that you face in your business. And with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Federico from the ToolsGroup team to give you a brief overview of how can ToolsGroup overcome these challenges that I spoke about and the many more that you will face or you would be facing in your business today. Thank you so much. Over to you, Federico.
Thank you, Oommen, and thank you everyone for being with us today. So to start with the first question, how can ToolsGroup help you elevate your supply chain planning? Well, first of all, we need to agree on the ultimate goal of ultimate objective of a good supply chain. The aim of an effective supply chain is to guarantee customer satisfaction by having the right product in the right place and at the right time. Achieving this goal requires making thousands of micro decisions every day. This is the typical job of supply chain planners. Without a powerful supporting tool, this decision cannot be made by looking at the vast amount of data that companies have at their disposal. This is where ToolsGroup comes into play. We allow companies to harness their big data and achieve great customer satisfaction, all while keeping inventories under control. Before we dive in, let's look at who's ToolsGroup and some of the highlights about ToolsGroup. ToolsGroup has been in business for more than 25 years, and we are a leader in supply chain planning space, as recognized by the most important market analysts that you probably all very well know, such as Gartner, IDC, and Nucleus. Since its beginning, ToolsGroup has been a global player, and today we have customers in more than 46 countries. We're also experiencing an accelerated growth over the last few years, thanks to the funding received from KKR, a top private equity firm in the US. ToolsGroup solutions have always been developed leveraging on the Microsoft technologies, and today all of our SaaS customers run on Azure. The great news is that when looking at business outcome for our projects, the typical payback period is within the first year. So you are recovering your investment very quickly. Let's understand what are the leverage in terms of KPIs that we can use in order to achieve these business outcomes. First of all, and most important, inventory reduction. Our average inventory reduction results is between 20 and 30%. This is mostly due to the ability of the software of fixing the mix of inventory. Typical companies have too much inventory of certain products and too little of others. We will see later how we can fix that in the software. The second leverage of our KPI is improvement in product availability. We can get to up to 50% improvement, obviously depending on the starting point and industries. We have some really amazing case study that we will be happy to share with you on how customers improve their sales through product availability improvements. The third leverage or KPI is reduction in repetitive tasks for planners. We can reduce the workload to up to 90% thanks to the extremely high level of automation achievable. We are really proud of this, and this has been recognized by the major analysts in the business because our engines are really allow a really high level of automation. Last but not least, as mentioned by Oommen in the previous slides, we also can leverage on waste reduction of up to 30 and 40% and CO2 emissions reduction. Let's now look at who are the global customers who achieve these amazing operational improvements with us. As you can see from the slide, ToolsGroup serves all industry verticals, from retail to manufacturing. Our global experience, combined with professional services skills that span across different industries, allow us to be up to date to all the latest supply chain best practices for your businesses. We will now talk about our product, SO99 for Dynamics. To start introducing SO99 for Dynamics, let's first understand its core planning modules. The first module is Advanced Demand Forecasting. This module covers the planning process related to the generation of a statistical forecast. It includes many options, such as the ability of studying the effect of promotion and other internal or external events. The second module is Multi-Actual Inventory Optimization. This is a tactical module that is used to set optimal safety stock targets on product availability performance. It is a task that is typically done completely manually when using an ERP system. Therefore, we can really improve your operational effectiveness on this topic. The third module is Supply and Distribution Planning. These modules support the job of supply and distribution planners in the calculation of orders to supplier and transfer orders between the different warehouses of your network. However, one of the major sources of complexity and risk when implementing new IT tools for businesses like yours is system integration. To overcome this issue, companies typically rely on system integrators, but those can be very expensive and time-consuming. Allow me to introduce SO99 for Dynamics. SO99 for Dynamics is our newest product, which adds a plug-and-play integration with Microsoft Dynamics F&O on top of all the great features of SO99. This means that all of you Dynamics customers out there can start feeding data into SO99 in hours and not months, and start therefore reaping the benefits of your optimized supply chain faster and at a lower price. We're very excited about SO99 for Dynamics. Marco will now explain the technical details of the integration, and then we will have time for a live demo.
Okay, thanks, Federico, and welcome to everyone. Let's start from this view, where you can see the Microsoft solution ecosystem description. Okay, and as you can figure it out, the idea from Microsoft is moving from a single application world to a platform logic where you have many different features available, and where the user, the customer, can put together them to build his own system. So everything from Azure, the Power Platform, until Microsoft Office 365, and moving through Dynamics 365, the application layer, can be actually used and will be integrated and naturally integrated to build your system, to digitalize your business process. So our integration solution is based on this logic, and try to apply the best practices and the very edge technologies to get SL99 Plus part of this ecosystem. Mainly, we focus on the supply chain element that actually include the biggest part of operational activity for a company, and in the specific area of planning optimization, we are able to bring the main advanced functionality that SL99 give you, as Oommen said before, that normally are not available in the ERP system. The main part of the solution is based on a model-driven Power App, based on the Power App platform, the Dataverse, and this application actually drives the user to get easily the data from finance operations, share this with SL99. Everything happened directly inside the Dynamics environment, okay, and also the main functionality of the SL99 can be used directly from the Dynamics environment, and everything is orchestrated through the Power App and the Power Platform, the Power Automate system. Behind this solution, behind this application, the data integration is driven still from part of the elements in that platform that we described before. So you get data lake integration, standard integration. Yeah, you can use Azure Data Factory, and this happen actually. Everything happened automatically. The result of SL99 calculation actually are available in finance operation. Also, this using a well configured standard element, part of the platform that we have seen before. So at the end, the user can be notified and can see directly the forecasting, the calculated forecasting, or the inventory optimization, or the proposal for purchase or transfer between the warehouse network. So this is actually a very short description, and what we have done was try to get a seamless integration between the products. Try to get that SL99 part of the ecosystem that you have seen before. So now let's see a quick view of the solution. And Federico, you are on stage again. Thanks to all.
Thank you, Marco. I'll start now sharing my screen so that we can run on the live demo. Can you see my screen? Yes. All right. So I'm accessing now finance and operation as a starting point. As we said, we will show you today SL99 for Dynamics. This is a plug and play solution that we install directly on Dynamics Finance and Operation. As you can see, when I open this instance of Finance and Operation, I have here my application SL99 for Dynamics right on my home screen. And by clicking that, I'm accessing the application itself. So the first step when opening SL99 for Dynamics that I want to stress today in this demo is the possibility of integrating seamlessly data coming from finance and operation. So as you can see here, this is the first step. Obviously, we have all the master data, and this has been synced seamlessly in a plug-and-play fashion within the tool system. So I can now, for example, open the products master data, and you will see a long list opening of different products on my screen. This long list of products has a series of attributes and additional elements that we have directly integrated and downloaded from F&O. And this integration is real time. So if you're creating a new product in your F&O, it will be automatically imported into our tool for planning. So I can, for example, open one of these records and see what it looks like by just clicking here. And I see that this product has certain characteristics and that can be displayed here on the left. But now you might be asking, show me some of the functionalities of the tool, and this is what we're going to do next. We're going to see how the tool itself works and helps you plan throughout the different modules, throughout the forecasting module, inventory optimization, and replenishment planning module. So I can access the rest of the application directly from here, just by clicking on the SO99 button. And I'm brought into the dashboard of the solution. This solution is based around working by exception. What does working by exception mean? It means the vast majority of the decision, these thousands of decisions that we were saying, that needs to happen every day, needs to be taken by planners every day related to what stock I'm gonna buy, what stock I'm gonna move, and so on, need to be automated by the tool, but the planners has inputs on whether there are exceptions, some specific behaviors that are outside norm. So this view is a completely configurable view in which the planners can see alerts related to forecasting, related to the inventory levels, and related to the replenishment. We can also see those as displayed on this map. As we move forward, let me jump into the forecasting module. In the forecasting module of the solution, you're able to analyze historical sales, and the system will generate for you a forecast, which is represented here by this red line. What other options do I have available on this? I can select the different granularity of the data as I want to see it. So, for example, I can see the data in different time slots. I can see it in monthly view, weekly view, daily view, or any other aggregation that you wish. I can also look at my data in terms of different unit of measurement. I'm right now looking at the cost of my sales, but I can also look at the price, or I can look at volume in terms of quantity. And then, of course, I can switch among different currencies if I have those set up in the system. But obviously, we are looking here at an aggregated view, as you can tell from the product and market selectors that I have here on the left of the screen. So right now, I'm looking at my entirety of products grouped together and all my markets. What if I want to drill down? Well, that we have these controls here on the left. I, for example, might want to look at my forecast in terms of a specific family or all the way down to a specific item. I can select the family of products. So right now the system will update and show me all the sales and future forecasts for this specific product family. I also can do the same looking at my market hierarchy and create complex filters and views. For example, I can look at my countries here. So I can look at these product family sales in the country of Spain. Planners here have the possibility of editing at any level of aggregation the suggested statistical forecast by the tool, and this will be spread down to all the different levels, all the way down to the item level, the product level. We also have the possibility of managing additional complexities like promotions, seasonalities. I will just briefly show you a couple of examples of those that I've prepared. let's look, for example, at a fast-moving product and how the tool automatically can pick up those behaviors and seasonal behaviors as well. But also the tool is able to work seamlessly across different kind of demand behaviors and therefore forecast efficiently also very slow-moving product like this one. As we move forward, we're going to talk about now about the inventory levels and how this tool can help you set the right inventory levels. These modules, the inventory optimization module, deals with the establishment of the right inventory targets based on a performance indicator. In this case, the performance indicator that we're using is the service level or product availability. Therefore, I need to set up my system with certain parameters. The parameters are my target service level that I want to guarantee. Here I can change it. They are my supply parameters. Therefore, typically, and the easiest to understand are the lead times, the lot sizes, and how often I review my plans. Based on these input parameters that come typically from the ERP, and based on demand variability and supply variability measured by the tool under the average delay functionality, the system will suggest optimal safety stock levels. For example, for this specific material, 11.1 days of safety stock is the optimal stock level suggested by the system. This is a very powerful optimization tool that can be performed both at a single SKU and location level, but of course at an aggregated level as well. So we can set performance targets for group of products, and those will be split down all the way to the SKU and location combinations. Once we have the right forecast calculated by the tool, we have looked at what should be our safety stock, the buffer under which we never want to go in terms of availability. Let's now look at the final module in which all of these elements come together, and this is the replenishment module. On the replenishment module, the objective of the tool is to calculate what we call proposals, order proposals. Order proposals are suggested by the tool and are suggested orders that the tool will make automatically every day, so that planners can review, edit, or accept what the tool is suggesting based on the forecast, based on our safety stock targets and future projections. If we look at what that will look like from a day-to-day operation of a planner, there will be a grid like this one. This is completely customizable in terms of what elements should be visible for the planners. I can go and change the report structure as I like. So I could add additional information related, for example, to other data that I have available in my system, coming as well from finance and operation as everything else. And I can use this to guide my vetting and approval process. And finally, if I want to approve a specific purchase proposal or distribution proposal, I just click on this button. This report has been designed to display to me only proposal for product family PF18. This is the way that this fictitious company is organized. Supply planners look at the product by product families, but it could be set up as different planners look at different suppliers. So what does this stock projection look like if we look at a specific example? I can just quickly jump into a display and analysis view of these proposals to explain to you how the system is generating and arriving to this final outcome, to this calculation. So we will have here a minimum stock level. The minimum stock level is what we had just calculated in the previous module of inventory optimization, is the suggestion of the tool for the best inventory in order to keep the high service level that we wanted. To that will also correspond a maximum stock level based on the lot size that we have for this specific product. And finally, the green line is where the magic happens, and the tool keeps our stock projection going to the future between a minimum, the minimum, and the maximum. So you see here this sawtooth diagram that you're probably familiar with, where we have a projection of stock going down throughout time and then going again up. These upward movements of the stock projection relate to the proposals list that we just saw before. So the system will generate forward-looking order proposal so that you are not breaking your safety stock targets. These proposals can be visualized. We're looking now at a specific product here, can be visualized here. So these are all the proposals going into the future. Or as I showed you before, I may want to look at everything that I need to release today into the ERP. Finally, as we move back into the Dynamics interface, we are also able to launch all the processes that are related to planning. Therefore, all the different processes of the different modules that I showed you can be launched directly here from this interface, so that you don't need to necessarily enter into the detailed view, but you can launch the calculation of the system automatically. At this point, the really brief overview of SO99 for Dynamics is finished, and I believe we leave the floor for questions. Please, Esteban.
Thank you so much, Federico, and all the exceptional speakers for today. We'll enter now the questions and answers section of the webinar. We have received a couple questions while we were presenting, so this is the time for answers. If you have more questions, please feel free to send them through the chat box, and we'll make sure to answer them as they come along. First question, here we have, are promotions and other commercial strategies considered when generating a forecast through the solution? Maybe Federico, you can take this one.
Sure. Thank you, Esteban. Yes, we didn't really have the time to go into that detail, but the system is able to, as a functionality that is called promotion forecasting, that serves exactly this purpose. The functionality works by looking at the effect of promotions in the past, and is able to project that uplift that the promotion had in the past into the future. So our forecast can be adjusted automatically into the future when we know which promotion will take place.
Great. Thank you, Federico. We have a second question here. In the inventory module, is the system able to suggest orders for replenishment? How is this calculated?
Yes, I believe I can take this question as well. Yes, the system is calculating replenishment orders in the replenishment module based on the forecast that we calculate in the forecasting module. This will tell us how the stock will be consumed in the future. Going forward, day by day, there will be a consumption of this stock. And also based on the safety stock targets that we have calculated in the inventory optimization module based on the performance targets that we have. We talked very briefly about the performance targets, but basically these are what is the product availability that we want to guarantee for that specific product. That will determine the red line that we saw in the graph. That means the line under which I'm running into risk of stockouts, and I don't want to be in that position. So the module works by projecting the stock into the future based on the consumption, which is coming from the forecast. And then as soon as we reach the red line or the minimum stock, an order will be received so that we go again into the comfort zone.
Great. Thank you so much, Federico, again for that answer. We have a third question here. Maybe Oommen can take this one. It says, what drove InTWO and ToolsGroup to partner with each other?
You are muted, Oommen.
Sorry about that. Interesting question, but I'm sure this question would have come from one of our customers on the call today, knowing our solution offering for customers, right? So let me answer that question. So as mentioned in the beginning, InTWO has helped more than 1,000+ customers to transform their business using Microsoft Cloud. ToolsGroup comes with a high level of focus and success in retail and supply chain planning. And we thought that this could be an important addition to our solution offering to customers, mainly to help them build efficiency, predictability in their supply chain. So we strongly believe that customers today need a digital planning technology to be resilient in their supply chain disruption, to actually help improve their performance, and most importantly, to overcome the challenges that businesses face, especially in supply chain. So I'm very glad to have this question being asked by our listeners today, and I hope I have answered your question. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Oommen, for that. We have one more question here, and it says, how many users is the solution able to host? What limitations are there to different users? Maybe Federico, you can take this over again.
Yes, thank you, Stefan. So the solution doesn't have any limitation in terms of number of users, and we can work on it simultaneously. And so that is a really important positive point. We have customers that have hundreds of users into the solution working as concurrently, and that gives them a lot of flexibility. So this is one really of the strength point of a planning solution like this. On the other hand, I believe the second part of the question was referring to access rights, data rights. The solution is fully customizable in terms of, or can be parameterized in terms of what users see and what user permissions are assigned to each user. So to make a very simple example, if I'm responsible for the demand planning for a specific region or a specific set of products, that can be set up so that I don't have visibility over the rest of the products. And the same goes for all the other modules. Therefore, for example, if I'm responsible for supply planning, but I only work with certain suppliers, then I will only be able to see the data relative to those suppliers. Another way that this can be set up is that all users are able to see everything, but they only have editing rights on specific data groups. These allow great flexibility, and it works across the different modules seamlessly. So that means that also when opening the exception dashboards, I'm only able to see, or I will be prompted to see the exceptions that are relevant to me for that specific day.
Great. Thank you again, Federico. With no further questions, we'll end the webinar here. But just to let you know, you will be receiving an email from our side with a couple extra resources that might be of your interest, including some success stories, trends, strategies, and more. In this email, you will also have available a form to fill out in case you're interested to schedule a meeting with an expert, or if you would like to book a demo of the solution. For any further information, please feel free to contact us via the email addresses displayed on the screen, or my email eloza@toolsgroup.com. That will be also included in the email communication that you will receive tomorrow. Thank you so much again, all of you today, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.